You're listening to the We Are Libertarians Podcast Network. Find all of our shows at wearelibertarians.com. You're listening to the We Are Libertarians Network. Learn more at wearelibertarians.com.
Song of Liberty podcast. This is episode number 278 of Essential's favorite podcast. We've outlived Juice in the Morning, so we at this point we are Essential's favorite. Brian Nichols sits next to us, but he's a national podcast. He's from the same building, but he's not an Essential podcast, so he'll hear this tomorrow and take offense to it. But hey, whatever. I'm Jeremiah Morrell. Today I'm joined by our executive video audio producer engineer Zach Burcham. Our returning co-host, been a very long time since this guy has been in the building, but recently re-elected town councilman Darrin Jacobs is here. Welcome.
Finally back. It's taken like 3-4 years to get an invitation. I don't know what I did last time, but whatever it is.
The last time we were here is probably the night where all the friends came out.
Everybody.
And I think that was like 2 years ago. That was like 2 years ago this week because it's been in the old
back
Facebook
into public
timeline.
office, and
I know that nobody. As soon as I left office, nobody cared about me anymore.
As soon as Darrin gets back in office, he starts accepting the wild random text of, "Hey, Dakota's sick. Who wants to come on?" And newly elected Darrin's like, "I'm back, baby. Let's go. I'm here to play." And then, sensing blood in the water, Dakota's got the flu, so Forrest is wanting his job. Forrest Plank is back.
I'm coming for you, Dakota.
2 times in a row this month. I've got the little calendar over here. It says Dakota is some guys do no shave November, some guys do no. Well, we won't mention that one, but then some guys, Dakota's doing no appearance November.
Also known as no show.
No show November. No show November. So Forrest is back, and he was so excited to take the invitation that if you're a patron, you get a link to the show notes, and inside of the show notes, there is a sublink to another set of show notes that Forrest wrote for his segment, because he's been Trump triggered this week.
I wanted to be prepared.
He has gone above and beyond what Darrin prepared the way that I'm used to our guests preparing, where it's like, yeah,
not at all.
Yeah. He did the Chase Payton and sat down and said, "Hey guys, what are we talking about?" and I did a fair amount of work this week. Zach, I have no idea how prepared he is or isn't prepared.
I'm here.
The usual amount. And Forrest has gone the extra mile. So
you're setting up very high expectations that I actually follow through with my preparation.
He has many papers, and we'll see if he remembers to look at them. So our goal, we're gonna make fun of Darrin. We've already checked point one. We're gonna go do a little update on the criminal justice system in Henry County because apparently it's overwhelmed. We got a little election preview, and then we've got a big national election deep dive. And then Forrest had a personal request that we get into a story from Ohio of what appears to be some sort of eco-terrorism. And then I assume that Darrin was going to try to get some concert tickets. So I put the last item on the agenda is really just because I feel like he's going to be disappointed and needs a place to vent. So stay tuned. Stick with us for the whole show. We'll get you through to the end. This show is about our lives in rural Indiana. We're to push your boundaries and make you think as individuals. Sometimes we'll provoke you. Other times we'll make you laugh, but hopefully you'll always learn something new. I still have to read that, and like a moron, I put my phone over half of the screen, so I had to do some of it from memory, and it's very questionable as to whether or not I did well. Oh, let's see. We've got I've got people in the chat talking to me. I've got Commissioner Plummer messaging me back after my trauma. If you go into the
Is she getting a mailbox?
She's laughing at my response. So if you're not a patron, we encourage you to join Patreon, ballsoccerliberty.com. Click on the support our show page. There's an extra 15-20 minutes each and every week of the show. That's behind the paywall. It's where we tell the secrets, and this week it's mostly about my trauma as a victim of Henry County government.
Yes, somebody in this room may have been a political prisoner for much of the week.
I'm I'm not saying it was me, but my car didn't do any miles until today. So it was a trying week.
But all of your services still ran.
Well, listen, my trash is not public. It is a private service, and they found a way. If it was city trash,
oh no,
it would.
Sorry, road's closed.
Yeah, road's closed. Sorry, you're shit out of luck. We'll come back after the new year. We'll check again then. And if something happened to your toter, Godspeed.
You can get another one in 3 years.
Yeah. Just get on the list. I'm sure. Why don't you steal one from your neighbors? It'd just be easier. Find an abandoned house and take their toter. All right. So you get some of that content if you join the Patreon at any level. We have some suggested levels. For instance, if you do $50 or more a month, you get your name dropped at the top of every episode as a personal thank you from Dakota and I. Thank you number one goes to Christy Avery, the awesome, incredible Christy Avery, who I think she does a lot of charitable work. This weekend, I think she's going to be in Mount Comfort with a friend of the show, Rusty Eckstein, at Mount Comfort RV, and Chris Spangle and longtime BHOL alum Rupert Bonham. They're doing the I think it's called Tuxes and Tennies, which raises money for Rupert's children's charity. Annual fundraiser over there at Mount Comfort in Greenfield. Christy and a number of folks buy a table every year and go to that. Anthony Myers running the roads in his truck. I heard this week, latest update from Anthony is that he was stuck on a shutdown interstate up in Montana, trying to keep America fed, running the interstates, but the blizzard had shut him down. First one of the year in November already. And John Phillips, Andy Moore Buick GMC over in Fishers. I've still got my truck ordered. We talked to John and I guess Sarah ran into him at the Walmart the other day. And, we're just waiting on GM to get some parts to actually build me a truck. We're still at the same stage we were last week, Forrest and Zach. GM has said, thanks, your dealer has submitted your order. We'll let you know.
So far your truck's an NFT.
But so far, yeah. Okay.
It's digital art, but there's no.
Totally off topic already. This is the way this show's going to go. When Darren's here, we get distracted. Is it who's the crypto company that went out of business? NXT or something? FTX. NXT is Indy Lights.
You can see, like if you watched it, their F1's one of the few sports still going. They're like they sponsor Mercedes, so you'll see Mercedes hats, and FTX is on the side of the hat. Yeah.
So they were sponsoring the Miami Heat, the basketball arena. They vaporized and they're gone from that. And I was scrolling through the Chinese TikTok app this morning, and it showed me the Larry David Super Bowl commercial of him not liking any idea somebody had come up with. He didn't like the wheel. He didn't like the light bulb. All of this stuff was wrong. And I couldn't remember who the hell that commercial was for.
FTX.
It was for FTX.
And they were like,
and they were saying, listen, you can trust us. Larry David's there. He got all this stuff wrong. Don't be the one locked on the outside. Don't be like Larry David. Trust us and buy in.
I haven't followed that story very closely. I've seen what's kind of popped up. But last I heard, he was on his way to a non-extradition country. It was what I'd heard from, because they had more than $1 billion just kind of disappear
into an offshore account.
Yeah. Out of something. But yeah, that's the story last week was the guy's net worth. He had the largest single week reduction in net worth, like in history. He'd gone from being worth like $100 billion to being like worth $1 billion. His net worth had gone down 94%.
I still don't feel sorry for the guy though.
No, I don't feel you can look at him and not feel sorry for him. He doesn't even look like a guy that feels sorry for. But yeah.
There's going to be some fallout. I just hope that, the state pension wasn't in it. Like,
I'm going to be honest.
It's all hilarious until something you're invested in was in it and you had no idea.
I'll be a little surprised if like part of my pension was in crypto, but yeah,
it won't be that your pension was in crypto. It was that you guys had some sort of a mutual fund that had a big portion of that. You'll be 3 levels down. And we had a roadway project once, the I-69, that private road down by Bloomington that went practically bankrupt. And it was owned by, I think it was a company called Isolux, which ultimately was backed by the Canadian pension system. So their pension system was the one that was paying for the I-69 construction project that went horrifically wrong. yeah, it's just you end up with these weird. This is why people like Darrin, warn us against capitalism.
So in that situation, we built a road and Canada paid for it.
Is it patrolled by Mounties or the Indiana State Police?
Well, they failed to build the road properly, and then it was a big stain on the Pence administration because they didn't have to have 100% bond. They only had to bond for a portion of the job, and then they actually went to use the bond, and they're like, "There's not enough money here to pay for shit." So yeah, we kind of got stuck.
How funny would it be if they were being funded by Canadians simply because some guy in Canada thought it would be funny to fund a road called 60. That was 69.
I-69.
Yeah. Fund it. just like click. It's done. Yeah.
So this is where we formally recognize Darrin Jacobs for sneaking under the radar.
Back
again. You got your name on the ballot. You didn't tell your friends. You didn't have any notable opposition.
Slid in last minute.
When's the filing deadline? Because for towns, it's very different. Town government is not well known, not well represented. When does a guy? You don't have to go. There's no primary, I assume, for this.
So the only way that there would have been there would have been a town caucus if there had been.
So the 7 Democrats in Spiceland would have had to meet up.
So in this situation, there were 2 open seats, and they were both at-large seats. The current sitting member, Bobby Rayburn, who actually took over for me when I left my seat, he was running again, and then I put my name in to run, and so there were 2 Democrats running. If there had been a Republican running, then there would have been obviously.
You would have had to go on the ballot.
Yeah. Well, we were on the ballot.
But you would have had
there would have been
a
no
numbers
opposition.
game. There would have been signs.
3 Democrats running, which I'm not sure we could find Democrats in Spiceland, but if there were 3 Democrats running, we would have had to have had a caucus actually to decide which 2 Democrats would go on the ballot.
So did the Dems pull like 4 votes in Spiceland?
Hey, we got. I don't remember what the numbers was. It was like 142 for me, and Bobby got like 130 some.
So you are barely the most popular Democrat.
Barely.
I think it was like 4. It was like 142 to 130. I'm like, and at first I didn't know. Like I'm just skimming. The initial sheet that comes out. It's kind of hard to read, and you're not sure. Like some races are a pick 2, some races or whatever. I'm like, oh, look at Darrin squeaking out the win.
Just barely.
Do you put the C on your shirt like captain when you go in? Just like
now, it's notable that people just like to screw with Darrin in politics because I believe he's the only precinct committeeman that's ever been challenged by a high school student.
And I barely won that one too. Barely. The former chairman.
The former county chairman gets primaried for precinct committeeman
by an 18-year-old who doesn't even who's like gone away to college.
Who's at Purdue or IU.
Yeah, that was a proud moment.
That like some of those down ballot races, you can win or lose by having flipped a table in your favor at the local breakfast spot.
Yeah.
Like you can literally turn like, oh, stop and hit up a table. Like you just won the race. That's all the votes you need. You just swung 12 votes or whatever in your favor.
The first precinct race in the Democratic Party in 3 decades. So in a township that has about 100 Democrats total.
So as I'm going through my memory of controversial, Darrin, you have a knack for just ending up in these situations. Did you guys forget to have a town election like 6 years ago in Spiceland, where you all just got to keep your jobs?
So that was sort of.
Well, if they don't remind anyone, then no one's going to come out and contest it.
Yeah, it was a situation. That was actually the year that I challenged Nate for the county council race.
Yes.
So it got screwed up, because we had at that time, because we have 5 members. So unlike the city where everybody's up at the same time, with our race, there's 2 and 3, and so they're a year apart. And somehow things got mixed up, whether it was, how far back it went in the courthouse.
It's definitely not your fault, though, is what you're trying to get to.
And it wouldn't have even been an issue, but the folks who were upset about the chickens.
Dakota.
Dakota was probably still in high school at this moment.
Who were trying to stir up some controversy, thought that this was a way to get me off the board, and it actually backfired. And they looked at it and said,
well, you're good for 4 more years.
yeah, because no one ran against you. You get back on without opposition. So, yeah.
How small town is it to just forget to have an election? Like, it's like somebody's like, should we have an election this year? Things are okay. And just move on. Just like, we're good.
Just walking down the street. Hey, Jim, you want to be in government today?
Yeah.
All right, it's yours.
There you go.
Good? You good? You good? We're all good? Okay, cool.
Well, I mean,
There's an episode of Bob. This is old, but the Bob Newhart show where he moved to this town, the New England town, and not the psychiatrist show, but the when he's the innkeeper, and he gets all worked up and he's going to join the town council, and he thinks this is a big deal, and then it's just literally everybody that shows up is the town council. So it's not like anybody held an office. Everybody that shows up at the meeting is the town council. He was all excited about being an official, whatever, and it's the same 15 people that are in every episode. All right, you were saying.
lost my train of thought.
I ruined it. All right. So you guys are, you did have districts. So it was really difficult. You had to find a Democrat that lived within like a 3-block radius of the old Spiceland gym.
Very similar to like how the commissioners are. So the town had 2 at-large seats, and then there was 3 districts. So it was broke up into 3 different areas. And I think it was just a residency requirement. But
do you have to live in Spiceland to be on the council? Because that's different town to town. Like in Newcastle, it's not a problem.
Yeah, I think so.
Okay.
But we always had difficulty. Somebody would come off the board, and at that point, the party chair of whichever party that person was would have to find somebody to fill the spot. So it's a small town. It's just like we were talking about. It's always hard to find anybody who wants to serve, especially to find somebody who lives in a certain geographic. So they've changed that. Something we talked about for a long time. There were some previous board members who never wanted to change it. So after January going forward, it will be all at-large seats.
Okay. So our audience doesn't forget when you have to run, so we can make this a thing. Did you get a 4-year term?
4-year term.
So you're good. You're good till 2026.
Yeah.
And then we got that long to recruit somebody to make this interesting.
Hopefully.
All right. Now, in the time you were at the town council, we're done giving you shit. So you can brag on Spiceland for a minute. While you were town council president, you guys did double the size of the town, roughly.
Yeah.
You go all the way to the interstate.
It's like the Louisiana Purchase.
We did. Yeah. We annexed up to and including I-70. We doubled the size of the town.
You now have an interstate.
We have an interstate that goes within the town. There's no other municipality in Henry County that has an interstate inside of its boundaries.
All right.
So now really stake your claim and go get a hotel.
I've been trying for years. We really have.
Well, now that you're back, you can do something about it.
Do something about it.
And you've got running water all the way out to the interstate.
We've got running water out to the interstate. We have our own electric utility that goes out. So we captured the in our Empire building, we captured the electric utility all the way up there. We added a Casey's General Store and a Dollar General. I know, big deal.
Now I don't want to start.
Dollar Generals are being handed out. Like Halloween.
Hey, we have the Dollar General that has groceries in it, though. So
the Dollar General Market.
They got the food desert.
You got like the fresh food groceries, because mine has groceries too. If you consider a Hot Pocket groceries.
I think you got the same kind that Morristown, Indiana has, where they have apples and meat counter and produce.
No, we're not that fancy.
Oh, you can't buy a guacamole, raw guacamole in avocado form?
No.
Damn.
So there's one in a city where we vacation, and it's like a miniature grocery store.
Yeah.
It's actually quite nice.
I don't know if I have any more questions for Darrin.
That's all right.
Anything else we can make fun of with
I'm
Spiceland?
bummed that they got rid of little precincts, because I could just imagine a small, and Spiceland's bigger than you think it is, but when you drive by, Spiceland looks frightfully small from the highway. You just think that, like, if they're looking for volunteers, like Debbie just walks out her back porch and says, "Hey, who wants?" Because she can literally be heard for her entire little precinct of Spiceland. And then now, if it's all at large, you can't just shout out your back door.
Now, you guys also have a very nice apartment complex that had a new lawn ornament last week.
Ooh. Yeah.
Yeah.
What happened?
Somebody forgot to turn.
Just had a semi, the 18-wheeler semi, just in the front yard of the new apartment complex.
Knocked out the power for the town for a while, and I work from home, so it was like, well, I guess it's a free day now.
Did you go walk?
I did a little walking. Any
Now,
opportunity to walk.
If you know somebody looking for a hotel, there is a hotel chain that is looking for somebody to build like to be their local franchisee.
Yep, they're looking for investors.
They're looking for somebody, yeah.
In Newcastle. So the race is on. Who's going to get it first?
Well, we had talked
Spiceland
about
or Newcastle?
Yeah, that was the Cobblestone group.
Yeah.
Yep.
We had talked to them in the past about a spot down there.
Yep. So they've moved on north.
It's all right.
So here's the real controversy that's coming. Dakota, former co-host of the show, before Forrest pushed him out. Dakota has a grinder pump. He's in the South Henry whatever district. South
Regional Waste District.
South Henry Baseball and Wastewater Treatment Division. The grinder pumps are very near and dear to my heart because I'm now a suffering grinder pump user. I'm afraid to have a house party because I never know what somebody's going to try to flush down the toilet. But these things are good for like 9-10 years tops. Dakota's was 11 years old, and guess what happened? He's had his first crap out, so to speak. So I don't know if you're going to have these town council meetings of all these people going, "Damn it, Darrin, my pump died, and I need you to pay me up for $5,000 to get a new pump." Because I don't think they're your problem, but you're the government.
Yeah, that's all right. We just send them down the road. We send them to Louisville on that one. Not our problem.
I'm sorry, you need to go to the next door to be told no.
You surpassed Dunreath even.
That's right. Keep on going.
So, are you telling me that if you live in Spiceland and you flush the toilet,
it goes all the way to
Louisville,
all the way to Louisville, through Dunreath, all the way to
You don't
Louisville.
even put it in the Big Blue River. They put it in the Flat Rock.
That's right, all the way down
That
there.
stuff goes way east.
Yeah.
What a miracle. Pump that stuff up there.
You're
You guys-
fertilizing Rush County, man.
It is funny, though, because if you go to Louisville and you turn towards Spiceland, you will go uphill. So apparently crap rolls downhill because Louisville's kind of in a hole right there.
All right. You guys want to
evidently
talk?
also have a temperamental sewer system. I learned that while we were investigating pump failures, that there's one kind of pump that you can run and be in that area, and there's one company locally that services said pumps.
It's got to be the E1. There's only one. It's got to be the
And
E1.
it's proprietary.
It's the exact same one I have in my front yard.
Never been so happy to be
2
hooked up
years
to
old.
city sewer.
1 year warranty. 1 year warranty. Still trying to figure out if the pipes, if there's any warranty on those at all, because mine is serving as a brown sprinkler. Very nice green patch of grass out front, though.
Go along with the freshly paved road. What's your complaint, man?
Fresh driveway.
I have the greenest grass in all of White
And this weekend, you're going to have a brand new mailbox.
Wow. The American dream.
No kidding.
Come on.
I should sell the house. We're at the peak.
You're
This is
at
as
the
good as it
Let
gets.
it go.
If you could find me some sort of a barn dominium with camper storage in Spiceland, Darrin, I might be willing to challenge you in 4 years. Just for
I think
show
John
content.
Kindred just posted one today.
I know,
in
but it doesn't
Strawn.
have camper storage. I looked. Plus, it's pricey, man. Of course, my house would probably sell for more than what I think it would be worth, but it's ugly. All right, let's talk about something happy and uplifting. What's next on the agenda there, Forrest?
Well, I've already flipped my page since you made fun of me for having so many papers over here. I think we're going to talk about our overwhelmed criminal justice system.
Happy and uplifting. We got murder trials. So I live under a rock, right? I think everything's fine, normal, whatever. There's you see the random, like somebody's running away from the cops and gets caught. Haha.
They don't run away here. They walk away.
Yeah. So that's later on in the notes here, but we can get to it. We had two people that had a quote unquote prison break that apparently we have the state prison that's off of the eastern part of Western Road. And it's true. Look it up.
Yep. Eastern Western.
Right by the new jail.
In Van Nuys. So we have a state prison, and then next to it we have the Henry County prison. And then in between, I guess I don't spend a lot of time at the prison. I haven't been out there since it was the state hospital when I was a kid. Apparently there's an unsecured building that we just keep low-level people that we had to send to the state, and we just had a couple of them just check out on their own.
Yeah, I think it's pretty normal. I think sometimes they'll have people, and those people sometimes will be doing like maintenance and stuff outside. It's like almost like a work release kind of situation. They're not work release; they live there, but they're able to walk away.
I mean, a 28-degree day is the prime time to just
They
walk
picked
away.
the best weather ever
Yeah.
to walk away. Like they couldn't walk away. I mean, if nothing else, it made it really easy for geothermal cameras, like to like the thermal cameras on the state police helicopter to find them.
So I've got a coworker that lives like 2 miles away, and apparently she was getting DMs from everybody that knows her saying, check your camper, check your camper, check your camper, because they thought maybe they'd walk there.
Check your camper. Yes, maybe. I think lock your door would be a better suggestion. I don't think, especially if it was dark. I remember it was dark. I think it was middle of the day though, wasn't it?
It was like, I think
it's dark at 4 o'clock.
It was right at
5, 6 o'clock. They went
like
away,
sunset, yeah.
And they had them caught by like 7:30.
Yeah. I don't think if it's dark, and if it's after lunch, it is dark here now, to tell your friends to go walk around their yard if they live within the vicinity of a prison break.
Go to the far edge of your property and check your camper.
Yeah, just walk around, turn your back to the rest of the rest of your property.
Make sure you're alone.
Yeah.
And leave your phone in the house.
Yeah, leave your phone in the house. Yeah. Your camper will be fine.
These are issues we're not used to talking about on this show. We talk about Darrin stealing chickens at gunpoint. We don't talk about prison breaks and murder trials, but this is the week in Henry County news.
Didn't one of these guys have 18 months left on the sentence? It was something.
If they're in that facility, if they're in the minimum security, they did nothing but screw their lives up by walking away.
Yeah,
because they're
now they get to go across the street.
Yeah, a friend that's worked at corrections, he said they're probably going to go to a different facility altogether. But yeah, they will not be in minimum security; they will be locked up now.
So it was a 20-year-old guy and a 19-year-old guy.
Oh.
So
that explains everything.
It's because their brains aren't fully developed yet.
Yeah, one guy was in for a single count of narcotics. He was going to get released in 2027.
A single count of narcotics.
What was he doing?
2027.
These are the laws. Yep.
It's been a hefty dose.
He better have been selling in front of an elementary school or something. That's a while for a narcotics charge.
Yep. It's a level 1 security facility, which I assume is the lowest level. And then the other fellow was a burglar, and he was supposed to get out in 2024. So, yeah, narcotics
Not
and
anymore.
stealing.
Not anymore.
Extended stay.
You remember when we had the riot out there and they had the helicopters flying? I lived in Newcastle at that time, and that was the whole town. Everybody was freaking out and locking their doors, but they had the helicopters circling the town.
I had the XM satellite radio going at the time, the Delphi, where you had to mount it in your car to listen. And I think I was listening to like the CNN national channel, driving by the prison, and it is broadcasting from the prison. It was national news. It was a mess. So yeah, that's we got that going on. So 3 murder trials, I think, by my count, Forrest. You've printed this out so you can get it right. But
3 murder trials.
We have
5 defendants.
We covered the prosecutor's race, and Michael Mahoney is starting in January. He'll be our new prosecutor. There's a trial that started on Monday for a fellow, and then you've got 3 more murder trials and a couple of attempted murder trials coming up beyond that.
I think it's 2 more murder trials, 2 attempted murder trials.
All in Henry County.
All in Henry County. But the most recent offender is the first one going to trial. Makes sense.
I'm curious if this is and I don't know, we're not going to know this amongst ourselves, and I'm sure every case is different, but I don't know if this is COVID that has created a logjam, or if it's just people misbehaving, or what's going on here, or if people are just trying to delay. But having 1 murder trial seems like a lot for our community in a couple of years, but having 3 of them lined up.
It does cover a 5-year span.
Yeah.
So timely defense.
So there was one that was supposed to happen earlier this year, like summer of 2022, and they ran out of jurors. They got 11 jurors selected, ran out, and had to give up because they had excused all of the jurors in the jury pool. And then when I was a kid, I think I'm pretty sure it was a prosecutor at the time. It may have been, I don't even know who it was. I want to say that it was probably Judge Crane came and spoke to me when I was in high school. And they said at that point in time, they would just go send deputies down to the Walmart and grab people and make them serve on a jury. If they ran out, they had that authority to just say, "Hey, you're now going to come do jury duty." Today.
I mean, it's a great ploy by a defense attorney because the pool is only so large out here.
So, has anybody in here ever served on a jury?
So I'm looking back on this now, realizing that I just missed because I filled out the questionnaire for the third quarter. So I would have been in the jury pool for cases from July, August, and September. And then this is the October, November, December jury pool. And obviously I'm not in this one,
I think
but
one of these was
just
supposed
missed
to go
it.
in August.
Yeah. I didn't get called. I filled my survey out, sent it in, and that was it. But that I was this close. So now I guess I'm good and done. I don't know. But there's a hell of a lot more opportunities. Now that we've talked about it on the show, we probably will be excused.
Yep. We know too much.
You're out of it.
It was in the newspaper. We know too much.
Forrest, you are the media now. You can't possibly do that.
No. I'm just a guy.
I've never even gotten the form, but I want to. I think it'd be great to
like to
serve.
serve.
I love to serve on a jury.
The first time,
so fascinating.
First time I got the paperwork, it was to serve on a federal jury in Indianapolis, and I was so excited. I got selected. Called the number Sunday night. Sorry, you don't need a report. I've never been more disappointed about not having to go to court.
I knew somebody that got to be on a grand jury, and so she got called back periodically as like they needed to decide whether or not something was going to go to trial or not. She would get called in for that. But yeah, I would like. And I think there is like you talk about the jury pool in town being small. I've heard about people who've gone and they're like, "Oh, I know so and so," and like, "Yeah, you're the third person today. Sit down." That's not a good enough excuse. Like so yeah, I would think it would be fascinating to be on the jury, but I've never been. My wife's had to fill out the form like 3 times. She's been called 3 times. She's never. She was a student at one point, and then I think another time maybe she had just had one of our kids. So it was like. She got exempted each time, but I'm like, what does it take to get called in this town? I'll be a professional juror.
Yeah.
Just sit there in judgment of people. Listen, we're still going to need you to come back on Thursday nights, though. You're going to have to walk a block south and get down to the studio.
Not to be sequestered. Imagine they sequestered. Like, where's Zach at? Nothing. And he was like,
he's at the Raintree Inn. He's been sequestered for 6 months.
Oh gosh.
We need a. Could you imagine losing your whole summer because you're on a jury and you can't go anywhere, Zach? You want to be a
Raintree Inn.
You want to be a wintertime juror. You could just be miserable. Hey, Zach, you're going to be sequestered from April 15th to June 15th.
No, that wouldn't happen.
But how fitting would that be at the Raintree Inn, though, knowing that like the guy in the room next to you, his brother, is the one whose trial you're serving?
Like, why are we even convicting this guy? The guy next door to me is doing way worse every night.
You imagine I stick you in that hotel that used to be over by Webb's Personal Touch.
This is just, it's so out of character for Henry. We're going to get real good at these trials by the end of next year.
I have a hunch it's a bit a mix of both because they couldn't have jury trials for quite a while because of COVID. So I bet that I bet they can't just start. They have to kind of ramp up to get the jury pools, get the mailers out, get them in, interview, whatever.
I think we heard one of the reasons why there are so few jury trials or jurors required traditionally is because they've only had like 4 trials last year. I think that we heard that in the May primary series, where there just weren't a hell of a lot of people that were called or required to do it. So maybe this is your year, Zach. This could be your big chance.
I'm hoping anytime. Yeah.
What you ought to do is just go take a lawn chair and just sit outside the courthouse. Next
Sign
time
that says I'm available.
Say just emergency backup juror. I'm ready, willing, and able.
I think it would be fascinating.
Self-nominated. Just write a letter. Dear Judge, whomever, I would like to offer myself.
One of these days, I want to work, like be a volunteer at the polls. But now all the schools give all the kids like the day off or make it an e-learning day. So that's not going to happen anytime soon.
Not all the schools, just Newcastle.
A bunch of them gave the day off. Actually, I don't know. I've got friends in Indianapolis. Their kids had the day. Most schools were either out, but yeah, Newcastle did e-learning that day. So I was on dad duty. And one kid tried to break the polling machine. So
one of your own children?
Yes. He was just hitting all the buttons. I was like,
should have turned him loose.
He tried to vote for somebody that I won't vote for. Do
you care to share that name?
Yeah, because he won't ever hear from me. He's blocked me. He tried to vote for Ken and Gray. Kennan's unopposed. No threat to Ken. I was like, nope. And I let him vote for everybody else that was unopposed. Some of them I didn't know who they were, but like they're unopposed. But I'm like, nope, we don't vote for him, son. And it took like 3 taps by unselected that vote.
You should have turned them loose,
Not in this house, Zach
and
says.
Henry County would still be trying to figure out the election results today.
Well, the scary thing was he was reaching around the side of them. She's like, "Oh, there's buttons over here." I'm like, "I don't know what any of these do. I don't know what any of these do." And these machines already talk very badly to you if you don't do what they think you should do. So, yeah.
He could have got electrocuted.
Oh, I could just imagine if like he just somehow knocks the whole system down or something and like shuts down the arts center as a voting center. It's like, what happened? Some guy brought a 6-year-old.
Darrin, you look like the kind of guy that's been a poll worker before.
I have. I've worked.
I've heard you do the hear ye, hear ye.
No. That's the no, because that's the inspectors who do that, and you have to be the Republican is the inspectors. Yeah.
Well, I mean,
Until we get
if the Democrats get their shit together at some point.
Yeah.
Darrin showed me
We
how to
had-
use the voting machines before. I think I've gone in to vote and Darrin's been the judge.
It didn't automatically vote Democrat for you when Darrin helped.
Let me just push this button and walk away. Don't touch anything else.
It's a feature, not a bug.
I was obligated to stand 50 feet away when that message was given. So
I always enjoyed working the polls. I couldn't do it this year because my name was on the ballot. So, but I would have been working otherwise.
All right.
did you go out and electioneer? But it was such a
no call
contested
for that.
race.
There was no call for that.
He's voting again or encouraging you to not vote for him. Great segue, gentlemen. We have, it's already a campaign season again.
It's like youth sports. It just never ends. It's like I've talked to people like, yeah, so and so got done with basketball. They got done with like track or cross country on Tuesday, and they started basketball on Thursday. I'm like, oh my gosh, they got a 1-day break, and that's what it feels like we got from the election.
So we voted on Tuesday. The House of Representatives officially last night went Republican. Nancy Pelosi today said she's no longer going to be the Democrat leader of the House. She's retiring from that. Going to stay in office, but she's retiring. Today, the mayor of Newcastle, the Honorable Greg York, who's working on fixing my green spot in my front yard, he's announced that he wants is it a fourth term?
Fourth term.
A fourth term as mayor of Newcastle. He made that announcement today at the big Chamber of Commerce luncheon. Did you attend that, Forrest?
I did not.
You were not there.
I was doing my research.
We have got a lot to cover today.
Pages of research.
I'm terrified to see how we may be here till 3 a.m. I don't know. Forrest has put in more effort than anybody ever has in the history of backup hosts. So Mayor York has announced he's going to run. Clay Morgan has, I think I don't know where Clay's at. If he said he's running or if he's exploring to be running, but I know he's doing everything it looks like that you are running.
He's selling Mayor for Morgan sweatshirts.
I was going to say, I think
Mayor for Morgan.
There's even like
Morgan for Mayor. Yeah.
There it is.
Yeah, there's a Morgan for Mayor Instagram account. I mean, how much more official does it need to be?
There's been a video.
Yes.
I just don't know. I don't know where he's at in the media cycle. If it's official or if he's just looking. I did look. You can't officially put your name on the ballot until next year.
Well, hell, I could say I'm running for mayor.
Be careful. Because
I am not running for mayor.
There is some paperwork to go with that if you say the wrong phrase. You have to start filing campaign reports within 10 days if you're not careful.
No, I am not running for mayor. Scratch that.
I mean, you could now your friends could speak about it publicly and possibly. But if you do want to run for mayor or any of the municipal offices, January 4th through February 3rd are the filing dates for Team R and Team D. So, the Democrat
what about Team L?
chicken, they have a different path where if you want to run as a libertarian, you would get appointed by committee, by the convention, and that could happen as late as July. So basically what happens is anybody that wants to run has until February 3rd, that January to February window, Team R and Team D, to put their name on the ballot in the primary. If it goes unfilled, then the party can then backfill somebody in there. That's the Darrin Jacobs backdoor solution to getting on the ballot, which leads to the least amount of controversy.
Path of least resistance.
You sit there and you hope and you wait that nobody's going to file, and then on the last day, you quietly get put on. You don't tell anybody you're running, and then ta-da! You got the job. This is the way experienced politicos do it. Or you can do the Clay Morgan and announce 3 months before and just have to absolutely
turn
just
and run and
work
run.
hard and raise money and push the snowball uphill.
Even the red turnout, I think that's going to be a hard race.
So that's the interesting part of this is that Henry County went, and Henry Township, which is where Newcastle went, so massively red in this last election cycle that I think we are going to have the most competitive mayor's race in 20 years in the town. It took a very special circumstance in a three-way race for a Republican to want to win when Jim Small was mayor of the town. And that was about 20 years ago. Zach's got this look of excitement on his face that only
I'm remembering some of those past administrations and things that didn't go that well. But I mean, today when we were talking about in the chat setting up for the episode that I think anybody, the current mayor's been in office for like 11 years. There's things he's done at times. I'm like, a little bit, but like he hustles. The guy's all over town. He might personally be the one digging up Jeremiah's yard. You never know the way he is sometimes. So like, I'll give the guy, he cares and he hustles. And then I like Clay too. So like, I love a race where so far, at least both candidates, I'm like, we'll be perfectly fine with either one of these people. And those are the best races. And opposed to some races where it's screaming one way, you're like, please, we cannot handle this one person being elected. Or once in a while you get a race and you're like, I don't like any of these people. Like none of them. Can I vote for nobody? And so that's a race.
Zach has attended more city council meetings than any city councilman or mayor has in the last year. He says that we are in the best hands possible. So I feel good about it.
Yeah. Between those two, I wouldn't be concerned at all about either one of them. So
it's going to be competitive. I'm excited about covering that race and seeing how many competitive races there are.
Do you think you'll get the mayor on the Boss Hog of Liberty?
The invitation will be sent. I don't know if we're going to find out that there's that you never know when there's going to be a water main break and somebody has to stand there and fix it. Sometimes it's tough to get my co-host to come on the show. So
can we get both the mayor and Clay on?
That's generally what we try to do.
That would be fun.
That's generally what we try to do. Assuming they get through the primaries. There's no guarantee that we're not going to see more than one R or one D in January. Who knows? We're going to watch the race as it develops, but I think you got a really good candidate on each side right now.
And isn't every city council seat up also?
Yes. So every single city council seat is up as well. So and our clerk treasurer as well. So every single person in city government that's elected is up. So once every 4 years, the city of Newcastle has there's no institutional retention at all. You could just,
it could be a clean sweep.
They could say, hey, we're putting wind turbines in where Firestone used to be, and you could get everybody thrown out of office in just 2 seconds. You never know. That was a joke, and Darrin didn't take it. He just
let it wash over me. I don't even hear it.
It just blew on by.
That was bad.
Well, this is okay. Well, this is only the first hour. It's a 6-hour show with Forrest tonight.
Got to get warmed up.
All right, let's. I'm gonna hand the baton over to Forrest. He has, once again, if you're a patron, I encourage you in the super secret Facebook group that you get into. You get show notes. You can click in the show notes, and there's a little link in there where it says Forrest Plank has done his research. That brings you. Jane Burcham says it's too soon. Listen, I'm told that wind is dead in Henry County, so it's not too soon, Jane. I disagree. If you click on in the show notes, Forrest Plank has done his research. You get an entire extra page of show notes from Forrest.
Had I known these were going public, I would have
oh no, this is perfect.
I would have pretty much a little bit more.
You can go in and change them, but this is it's lovely. You looked at it 3 or 4 different times.
My lunch hour was only so long.
You got an incredible amount done in a 30-minute lunch hour. All right. So you wanted to talk about I guess 2 or 3 major things have happened this week already.
Yep.
Our former congressman, our former governor, our former vice president, same guy, our congressman's brother, Mike Pence. He sat down for an interview with ABC News, and he said,
he was even on CNN.
Yeah, he did the ABC interview, and then the next day he did it. I don't know where they did it. I assume it was somewhere local.
I think half the crowd was from Indiana.
Yeah, so there was a Jake Tapper CNN town hall meeting that I missed, but I did watch the ABC David, whatever the hell the guy's name is, David somebody. Their big guy, David Hyde Pierce from Frasier. I assume it's probably it's probably who it is. He sat down with him at his house in where the hell does he live? Does he live in Zionsville now? Do you guys know? I'll make it up. We're gonna say he lives in Zionsville, the richest place in town in the state. So Mike Pence sat down and said, "Hey, my life was in danger. I'm very cross with Donald Trump. He was as pissed off as he could be."
By him being pissed off, he said, "I think we have better choices.
I think we have better choices, or I think we will have better choices." But then, so here's the thing: Mike Pence, he can be really humble, but he can also be really humble in a way that's really irritating because he wants you to realize that he's the gift that's on the other side of the humble.
Yes.
So he was trying to be like, I think we'll have better choices. And then it was like, it's going to be me. But he wouldn't say it's going to be me because he wants the moment of it's going to be me. So you're going to have Mike Pence and then Donald Trump announce that he is running. And then probably the governor of Florida, Ron DeSantis, is probably going to be
What did Trump call DeSantis earlier this week?
The sanctimonious.
The sanctimonious.
So you're going to have the guy, the former president. You're going to have the governor of Florida who looks over the property of the former president, and then his vice president is going to run. This is
now shunned him.
This is going to be a lovely Aaron Sorkin movie later. I'm really looking forward to the whole thing. All right, so I've set this up for us. What do we need to know?
After his announcement, I don't want to get too far in because there's been 2 episodes this week that have nearly broken the internet. But after his announcement, the fact checkers went wild. And one simple Google
Somebody
search.
went back and reviewed the stuff he was talking about.
Yes. And I think all you have to do is Google Donald Trump announcement fact check. So if you would do that, right away you'll see 19 or 20 items that they bulleted calling them out. Oh, he's looking it up right now.
Donald Trump
announcement fact check.
If this is a fundraiser for Donald Trump, I swear to God. This is CNN's false 20 point blah, 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 blah.
Yep. CNN came out, blasted him. New York Times, Washington Post, Forbes, the Public Policy Center, and our friends across the pond with the BBC, Independent, all of them came out just absolutely hammering him. But it's the same rhetoric that we've seen for the last 6 or 7 years from him about how I'm the greatest. So
he was unhappy about the Afghanistan withdrawal?
Yeah, because we left $85 billion worth of military equipment over there.
Is that true?
I think Congress only put out like $83 billion for the entire Afghan war. So I don't think that's true.
And then he claimed that his administration filled up the strategic petroleum reserve, but now it's all gone.
There were fewer barrels when he left office than when he went in.
Chinese tariffs.
No president ever sought or received $1 for our country from China until Donald J. Trump came along. That's what he said. Although I think the number's like $12 billion average annually for the 8 years prior to him going into office.
So this is national politics. So I thought we were talking about campaign contributions, but this is actual federal revenue is what he's trying to claim.
Yes.
So now he was saying that we were never getting any federal tariffs from China until he was president.
Yep.
And that's not the case.
He was only off by $12 billion or so. It's close.
Per year.
Per year.
$12 billion amongst friends. Who the hell cares?
Enough to cover that Afghan war. I was just doing math in my head. Sorry.
Trump said that the sea levels might raise an eighth of an inch in 300 years, so don't worry about it.
I think the number's closer to like 8 to 12 inches in 30 years.
I'm going to tell you.
So I don't live on the coast, so I don't think it's going to reach Melody Lane.
For now, you don't live on the coast.
Listen, Henry County, right here in Newcastle, we're at about 1,070 feet. So we've got we've got the high ground.
I have a few hundred years.
We're going to be okay for a minute. We'll be dead and gone before it's a problem here. Now, if Columbus, Ohio becomes a seaport, then we'll have an issue to talk about. But until then,
how much cheaper cruises will be to get to, Jeremiah. And Florida will be gone. So Florida man will be gone.
Florida.
What will we talk about then?
Florida man will not be gone. He'll adapt and he'll be Alabama Al. He'll be
it'll be Kentucky man.
yeah. It's the real concern is going to be when the Gators live in Kentucky.
Oh, yeah.
That just makes hunting season interesting.
Oh, let's see.
More on that later.
More on gas prices.
Gas prices.
$1.87 a gallon.
$8 a gallon is what.
That's one of the things that drives me the most crazy is because they love to talk about like, oh, gas was was it under $1 a gallon for a hot second when we couldn't go anywhere?
Yeah.
When there's massive supply.
I didn't get to buy any of that gas because I couldn't go anywhere.
You could have driven around the block following Darrin while he was walking.
Yes.
I know. I actually would see Darrin when I was walking because I would walk and Darrin would walk, and I'd see Darrin walking almost to my house, and because I was taking an hour lunch, so I had time I could walk downtown and back. But and gas prices are dumb now. It's ridiculous. Oh, I only got for $3.50, but you couldn't go anywhere. And I don't know if anybody else noticed. Tinfoil hat moment. So if somebody can give me a better explanation, great. Gas prices around here jumped 60 cents for the election and then immediately went back down. They were like $3.60.
Well,
a week and a half before the election, they shot to $4.25.
Well, that's because we got another 30 cents of gas tax on November
but now
1st.
it's back down to like $3.50. But yeah, the gas price thing is like, well, it was down so cheap. I'm like, where'd you go?
Biden did
you
that.
couldn't go anywhere. But so, yeah.
Should have saved it and put some stable in it, Zach, and just put it in your garage. Could have had hundreds of gallons of gasoline.
Barrel upon barrel.
I've learned all you need is just a big rubber bag and put it in the trunk of your truck, and you can take it home.
Shopping bags were great. I've seen those pictures on Instagram.
Mason jars.
It's now snowing in Green Bay, by the way, for those that took the over. Let's see. We skipped over a couple of items. The presidential records.
Oh yeah,
He claimed that Obama stole records
he
too.
took all those records to Chicago, but I think National Archives did that. I think history shows that any president has records transported to wherever their library is going to be, right?
But they're not the classified records.
And they don't personally take them.
All right. Let's see. There was something about, I have to admit, I did not watch this speech, but I can't believe you sat through it for us.
You couldn't have chained me down.
I got the Cliff Notes version.
The Poland miss. So, all right. I was busy at a 4-H meeting and the world freaks out because World War III started because immediately there was a report this week that there was
a Russian missile.
A Russian missile was aimed for the Ukraine and landed in Poland.
Landed 4 miles into Poland.
So this is on the day of the Trump announcement speech.
Yep. A couple of Poles lost their lives. And Trump's claim was that it went 50 miles into Poland. People are going absolutely crazy and they're not happy. And he's going to do something about it. And now news comes out and it wasn't even a Russian missile to begin with.
It was an accidental Ukrainian missile that went the wrong way. Eastern Europe and their technology, you know. I'm already tired of the 2024 presidential race, 2026 presidential race. What the hell year is it going to be? 24?
24.
Oh my God.
I want out.
Really?
I want out already.
Oh.
This is,
we are
2 years.
23 months out.
Yes.
I'm already over
23 months.
I'm already over it. As excited as I am about talking about the Newcastle City election, I am equally unexcited about the next 7 hours of this page that we have to read for us. All right. So Poland missile disaster. That didn't happen.
Yep.
He talked about the wall.
All the claims about the wall that he built that hasn't been built.
Is Honduras going to pay for it? Who's paying for it this time?
Bet tariffs will that he collected.
So Biden's mental acuity. He quoted a satirical piece from the Boise Times in 2020.
The Boise Times. I had to go out and see what this website really looked like, and it looks like a legit website until you start reading some of the articles. So he quoted Biden as saying, I don't know, welcome to Idaho when he was in Iowa, or welcome to Iowa when he was in Idaho. One of those. And he pronounced it as the truth.
Or maybe said, "Where's Jackie?"
He's just starting to get his staff writing, his staff writers back. Give him a break. I shared an article on Facebook this week that was obviously satirical.
Oh, but people buy it though.
And everybody thinks it's real about the looping roller coaster that's going to be at Disney World that has no tracks.
Yeah.
It jumps the track. Yeah.
And I made a smart ass comment about how they have to weigh you in to make sure that you can. That,
you and I are going to have to be on
right.
opposite ends of that ride.
Yeah.
Also, we are with the current, because I think I've seen that Biden's at least informally say he's going to run again, and Trump's in. If one of those two is our next president, one of them will cite The Onion in a speech. One of them will. Because they both at times aren't right on the ball. And then other times, yeah. So we're just a matter of time before The Onion makes a presidential speech, and not ironically.
The important thing is to realize that you should never give this much power to the federal government. And the best thing is that when you elect one of these guys, is that they're just a mascot, and the people with the real power are the folks like Darrin on your town council.
That's right.
That's where you want the real power to be.
Don't remind us of what happened in the municipal elections, man. It's not good there either.
Oh, let's see. What else we got? We got some more stuff on illegal immigrants.
Yeah. How many have been captured and sent back out?
And then Trump said that it's going to cost you 4 times more for your turkey. 3 to 4 times more. Has anybody bought their
turkey yet?
I'm not in the turkey buying department.
We didn't. We don't get a full one.
We're amongst friends. We have to travel for Thanksgiving, so you
can leave with the frozen and show up with it. Depending on where you're traveling to.
Georgia. Here's a very questionable turkey that's been riding with me for 800 miles. Good luck, guys. If we all get the shits on Saturday,
the temperature popper still in it.
It's ready to go. Just put it in the back in the back seat on high and let it cook. It'll be roasting on the floor vent.
So Donald J's claim is that turkey prices are up 3 to 4 times over when he was in office, and I guess that's Joe's fault too. But I think the numbers show it's like 7 to 10% up, and that's primarily driven by an avian flu outbreak, which probably brought in by people from China.
Does that count the reduction that Aldi came out with this week? Because if you go to Aldi,
do you really think Trump shops at Aldi?
Old people love to shop at Aldi.
Hey, I came to Aldi before I came here.
They always look so intense when they're packing their stuff into they steal the can trays, the cardboard trays. Yeah. They love that place.
Yeah.
All right.
Not Dear Leader, though. Dear Leader doesn't like it.
But all the fact checkers.
Yes.
One organization will not fact check Donald J. Trump now.
And who's that?
That would be Facebook.
Really?
Because he is now officially a politician. And they're not in the business of influence. Well, I think their quote is
this a recent development that they don't fact check politicians now?
They don't.
I think it's actually like 3 or 4 years old.
Have they just given up?
They don't have the computing power.
But now that
they don't have the server space to fact check politicians.
Now that he is officially a politician once again, from the time he left office, he was no longer a politician, and they can fact check the hell out of him.
Okay.
And now that he said, I'm going to run again, he's actively a politician.
How many jobs do you think he killed by getting back in the office?
Well, they're all coming back. Well, Twitter.
Well, I'm just saying.
They all left Twitter because Elon fired them all. So now.
I know, but there had to be a team of 10 or 12
him.
guys that just sat there and had to fact check Donald. And now he's running for office. They just got shit canned.
Actually, I think Meta uses a third party fact checker. So it's not Mark's team.
No, so they're just severing the contract.
Yeah, but
we don't need this anymore.
But their quote is, "It's not our role to intervene when politicians speak."
All right.
So when he speaks, it's bullshit coming out, I'm sure.
So we're going to mark you down as an undecided voter going into the primary.
The jury's out on that one.
All right. Let's see. Next on Forrest's hit piece on the former president. He raised 100
more pages to go, everybody.
Trump's Save America PAC had $100 million in cash on hand last month. And after the FBI raid of Mar-a-Lago, they raised $10 million.
$10 million. Come pay my legal fees. I'm so poor.
Listen, that's how politics works, man.
And Zach, you want to share your little tidbit?
And this is something that actually came out of one of the wall chats, and I saw it, but they sent an email out to all these people trying to raise money for the Herschel Walker campaign, the runoff in Georgia. And if you read the fine print, it said that for every $1 you donated, 10 cents of it went to Herschel Walker's campaign and 90 cents went to the Trump campaign. But that wasn't in big check. They're like big text. That was like in the fine print you had to read. So he was using that situation to raise more money for himself, but make it look like you're raising money for somebody else. So read the fine print.
Listen, the shell game of raising money in politics, I don't know why anybody's surprised that it's corrupt. It's just, that's the
You're
game.
supposed to raise money when you run for office? Damn, why didn't anybody tell me that?
Listen, in the eye of straight ticket voting, it doesn't help.
Ask Darrin out there in Spiceland. You can run on a shoestring budget and get elected.
Sometimes you don't even have to get elected. You just get put back on without an election.
I know somebody that got
Darrin, did you have a sign out?
I know somebody that got elected to a position. It was not a municipal, it was a nonpartisan election for a school board. And he's like on his second or third term. He's never bought a sign. It's small town. People know who you are.
If you are on the board and you can't recruit somebody to replace you, you are stuck on the board.
Life.
You are automatically reelected. That's essentially the way it works.
But you can resign, though, right?
Yeah, but you'll get shamed.
Twitter.
Yeah. And I'm sure there's a lot of Quaker shame in Spiceland if you don't.
I mean, when they run into you at the Dollar General or the Casey's General Store,
pumping your gas.
Quitter.
Quit on us.
Why'd
Jacobs.
you leave us?
They guilted him back into running again. He left for a period of time, and here he's back again. All right. So Mr. Mike Pence of Zionsville, he's running for president again. So immediately the book is out. Are you going to get your book signed? Are you going to get a book?
No. I don't even know if I put forth the effort to read it. I may listen to it on audiobook if I'm really
think it's
bored
going
on
to
the
be
drive.
fascinating, honestly.
I just want to read the chapter about January 6th.
Yeah.
That's all I want to hear. And I hope he's brutally honest.
So in the ABC interview that I did sit through, he said that President Trump never called him, never said jack shit, but the Democrat leadership did call him. So I think Mike Pence might be a Democrat again. He was kind of inferring that they were nicer to him.
Man, that would be a plot twist.
He started as a Democrat. In the 80s, he was a Democrat.
So did Trump.
Yeah.
for Trump to say something to him, Trump would have to, in some regard, acknowledge some level of responsibility for the events of the day.
In the ABC interview, he said that Trump all but was remorseful when he found out his family was there, when his wife and his kids were there. I think Mike Pence was being wildly sincere in the interview, but he spoke in platitude that made it feel insincere. Is that the speaking pattern?
It was almost fake.
Yeah.
That's just the way Mike Pence.
I know,
is.
but it's gotten to another level.
Yeah. It's like he was created in a Republican lab somewhere. He's the approximation of what a human being is. He is a facsimile.
Are you saying he came from the GOP Wuhan lab?
But his level it's changed in like the last.
He was
20
growing
years.
right next to Dolly the sheep
because he's telling an honest, actual story, and it's accounting, and then it turns into, and then he talks about his kids in the middle of it, and it's I think it's heartfelt, but it's just
he is so polished,
cringy. It's so perfect that it's not believable.
Do you remember in Men in Black when they had the screen up that had all the aliens on it? That was like Michael Jackson and all these weird celebrities.
Is he really planted in there?
I could see Mike Pence in like the corner there as an alien that nobody knew about.
So Craig DaCosta, wonderful patron, says, why did I get a notification that Chris Spangle just went live in the middle of your live podcast? Aren't you supposed to be on the same network?
Disrespect.
Thank you for bringing this up, Craig.
Yeah.
We will discuss this at the next wall meeting. It's secret time because we're amongst friends. We're actually live. Chris pre-records that shit and then pushes it out pretending to be live, but we're here to see your comments, and we're actually here. He's off on his private boat in the islands with his wife. And he really only does like 3 days of podcasting a month. But the rest of the time he's in the Bahamas pretending to be in Indianapolis.
So start trash talking in his chat. He's not really there.
He's not really there. He is not there to
wildly speculating.
Craig, we're actually here and we care, and we know that you are paying $36 for a single turkey in Hawaii.
And yes, it is really cold here.
And it is, I'm wearing a hoodie. 28 degrees. Listen to Patreon. You'll understand my plight.
As somebody pointed out, the official winter coat of the Midwest, the hoodie. It counts.
So we had Friendsgiving, and Brian Nichols, who was on Patreon, he came by. Brian is from Philadelphia. He's from New York, but he lived in Philadelphia. He moved to Newcastle from Philadelphia. He despises John Fetterman. So I wore this hoodie to Friendsgiving, and I said, this is my Fetterman shirt. And he almost left. Wow. It almost cost us Friendsgiving. When I wore my Fetterman hoodie. But hey, what now? It's if I can't give my friends hell, I don't want to be friends. I don't know what else to do. Anyway. All right. What else we got on our list? Mr. Co-host Plank. Is that the end of your Trump rant?
Yes.
Is there anything else?
That's enough.
Man, you got me nothing on DeSantis. What do I need to know about Ron DeSantis?
DeSantis isn't his name. What is it?
The sanctimonious.
Is anybody else going to run? So you're our token.
I'm certain Pence is going to throw his name in there.
Yeah. So Pence, DeSantis, and Trump. Is there room for any other Republican to get into this race and actually?
Who's the wild card?
That's what hurt him last time, though, when there was too many who ran. Yeah. That's how Trump got ahead. If they're smart this time, they'll close ranks early on and.
They'll do what the Democrats do and just say, God damn it, we have to suck up and go with Joe. Screw Bernie.
Is somebody going to go down to Texas and pull Scott along for their run?
I don't know. I don't think there's another. They should not run somebody else. So then, see, Democrats just going to go with Joe again, and that's it. You are the highest ranking Democrat official in the room, so you have to speak for the entire party.
I think if he chooses to run, I think it would be unlikely that there would be a serious challenge. So.
Pull your mic up just a little higher so people actually hear you.
Yep.
So do they have an emergency backup candidate in case he turns 82 and realizes he doesn't want to do this anymore?
So I think that's Kamala, I would think. I think that that's going to be difficult, but I mean, I don't know who they jump over the vice president with. So, I mean, you could see, if somebody really wanted to.
Pete Buttigieg is kind of doing another little tour.
He could be out there, but.
He's the most visible Secretary of Transportation we've ever had in the history of the world.
I mean, you could have Indiana versus Indiana. Well, I guess he moved to Michigan, didn't
he? He's from South Bend, I think.
Yeah, but.
Has he changed his residency?
I think he moved up to Michigan.
Really?
Yeah.
Not to D.C.?
I mean, Indiana versus Indiana would be a fantastic.
Slander and libel over here, Forrest. I hope you've got a good policy. Saying when you accuse a Hoosier of moving to Michigan,
at least it's not Kentucky.
This is troubling.
It's not Ohio.
Yep.
I'm gonna try and look it up, but here's the fun part. After
John Mock is watching, he thinks Hillary's running again. Will you take that negativity back to your side of the county, sir? We don't.
Here's the best thing is even Google. When I start to type in where does Pete, and I start BU, and then there are 5 different spellings for his last name. Even in the Google suggests doesn't even know how to spell Pete Buttigieg's last name.
We're lucky we can pronounce it.
Yeah,
Mayor Pete.
Well, Secretary Pete now.
But when he was running, Mayor Pete was way easier to say.
Yes. I don't know.
All right, Zach. Where is it?
I'm trying. Well,
I think Mark Kelly would be a fine candidate.
I'm shocked that he doesn't live. He wouldn't live in D.C. being the Secretary of Transportation.
Yeah,
he wouldn't have moved to Virginia.
That's what. I would. You would get an apartment. I mean, the guy. Hell, you want to have some real fun. How much money do you think Pete Buttigieg made as the mayor of South Bend, Indiana?
No, not enough.
How much in comparison to the $63,000 that the mayor of Newcastle gets?
I'm going to be honest. That's shockingly low. To run a city, I'm a little surprised by that.
All right, I want y'all to lock your numbers in here. We're gonna Google this and see how much money you get paid to be the mayor of South Bend, Indiana.
I'm going to say
mayor of South Bend, 120.
I'm going to say 110.
I'll go low. I'll go 90.
This isn't The Price is Right.
Oh, come on now.
$1.
You guys went for $1.
I'm going to say he made $140,000.
We got
Searching.
140, 120,
We're going to use the year
110.
2019. $115,052. So the 120 would be the closest.
It was 120.
I was 120. Zach was 110.
115?
Right in the middle.
Yep, we split it.
Peter Buttigieg of South Bend, St. Joseph County.
And then he probably made that in a day off his book.
Oh, yeah, no doubt. His salary is the Secretary of Transportation, $221,000.
Let's see if they gave him some raises. Let's go back in time. Back in 2013, they paid him $104,000. So he grew the size and scope of government over there. You know. Craig DaCosta with a fine choice. Jared Polis, the governor of Colorado. He's the DaCosta pick. It'd be fun. Would
that lead to a federal legalization?
I would sure hope it would lead to something.
Please. Let's just get it over with.
I think that's okay. That is what the Democrats should do between now and when they lose control of the House is to actually pass that through and be done with it.
I think I'd even heard, and it might have been political scapegoating. Somebody can fact check me on this one, but like the president saying he was going to release all these people, nobody actually got released. Like the criteria that were set forth, nobody actually met those criteria. It's like, come on, just turn people loose. And in the case of Indiana, reschedule it. And then, because that's what the governor here says he's waiting on, reschedule it as a drug. I don't know what we're dragging.
So Pete Buttigieg has moved to Traverse City, Michigan. But
that was a family move. It's understandable.
Why did he move?
That's where Chasten's parents live.
Carpetbagger, man. What this does, it's a bit calculated because you can't get elected as a Democrat to statewide office here.
Right.
So you're either going to run for president or you need to get something going. So if he moves to Michigan, establishes Michigan residency, 2 years, 4 years from now,
Senator from Michigan,
he can be Senator Buttigieg.
Yep.
And then he can run for president from there in 4 years, 6 years, 8 years, whatever. Because the guy is like, I don't know, he's probably Forrest age, 42. How old do you think he is?
I don't know.
He's not as old as Zach. Zach's 56, so I know.
Yeah, I feel it too. Let's look up. I'm gonna get so hit up with Pete Buttigieg spam for these
all the Googles.
40.
40 years
turned
old.
41.
He's like 10 months older than me.
Once again, another reason for you to feel like you haven't accomplished that much. We started the day talking about new Congressman Rudy, who's 37 years old, MBA from Notre Dame, and Congressman from the 2nd District, Rudy Jacobs. And here, all these South Bend guys are wildly successful at young ages. Down here, you're just hanging out. Craig DaCosta, he has abandoned Indiana. If he runs for something else first, would it be Booty Call 2028? I'm sorry, I started reading that sentence. Craig, we're going to put you in charge of the messaging for the Buttigieg campaign up in Michigan. I'm going to say that we lost him as an Indiana citizen because they have legal weed up there and we don't. That's probably what happened. Now, this will lead us into our final, not our final, nearly our final topic of the night. Van Wert. Have you guys ever been to Van Wert, Ohio?
I have.
I've been to Van Wert. It's the eastern suburb of Fort Wayne.
Yep.
If you guys know. Bought a goat there once about 25 years ago. A fine Nubian dairy goat. We were looking to bring some new blood into the herd. Apparently, they had a commercial. Now, you have some experience with this kind of a thing in one of your former lives, Darrin. There was a commercial mink operation where they grew mink.
Okay.
Which there's only 12
minks.
of these across the country.
There were like 3 of them in Ohio, apparently. They're very mink friendly.
One in Michigan.
So there were 40,000 mink that were turned loose in Van Wert, Ohio.
Oh my.
In what is theoretically either one of two things. Somebody got very sloppy with closing the gate, or they had some terrorism from a ethical treatment of animals style organization.
It was ALF. I don't know what ALF stands for, but it was ALF. They spray painted "We'll be back."
Alf would have eaten the mink. I believe. If I remember my 80s comedy trivia, they would have been edible. So now there are 40,000 loose mink.
No. There were 40,000.
Okay.
They believe that there are still 10,000 out and about.
They caught 30,000 mink. How do you wrangle up 30,000 mink?
Well, one of the articles that I saw earlier in the week said that the county had plows out on the road.
Oh my God.
And that was, you know what? A thought came to my brain, and it was a napalm barbecue. And you made it worse. You went darker. They're plowing mink.
Yeah.
So
I'm just picturing all of these rednecks around Fort Wayne with brand new mink coats.
I
still have that new mink smell.
But they're like stitched together with like duct tape and fishing line.
A baseball bat in one hand and a stringer full of minks in the other.
As the crow flies, or as the mink wanders, it's only 78 miles from here to Van Wert, Ohio. So I don't know if they travel southwest for the winter. We are directly in the line of a mink invasion, and the people of Blue River Township are our first defense.
Well, sadly, if it was like some animal protective organization that released them, they're basically domesticated since they've been cage raised their whole life. So 3 days out in the wild in this lovely weather, they're all dead. Most likely.
And if they don't,
there will not be any chickens left in the area.
They're carnivores. Yeah.
Yeah.
So they eat virtually anything they can catch and kill, including fish, birds, eggs, insects. They're not going to find too many crabs or clams in Ohio, and small mammals. So
if there's a chicken farm nearby, look out.
Yes. So one of the local farmers said that
this is the CAFO nightmare, Darrin, is when you have your chicken farm next to the mink operation,
the minks
get out and they just destroy the poultry farm.
And West Central Ohio has a ton of poultry farms. But they said 10,000 minks would consume 1,600 chickens a day.
So maybe in that part of the state, turkey is going to get real expensive, because he's right. Because I know that
called it.
I've run around around where Eldora is, which is West Central Ohio, and there are multiple.
There's a lot of feathers.
There's a lot of feathers. There's a lot of turkey, and I imagine they keep them in these kind of low barns that if like 500 mink rolled in, I bet it's an absolute, I bet it looks like a video game, just a massacre, just a line of them, just
I could just imagine CGI in some movie of rats running through the sewer, but this is real life minks running down the road.
Yeah.
Just domestic terrorism with minks. I want to know if they had like a mink hunting season, because we have deer season now. You've got every.
Ironically, mink is in season in Indiana right now.
So you can, if they come over, they are wildly available.
So I think this happened Monday or Tuesday, and the mink trapping season in Indiana started Tuesday.
Could you imagine if the governor declared like a special emergency mink season?
They were encouraging people to go out with golf clubs and baseball bats and club them.
Because they are invasive, right? At least in or it's going to take it out of balance. So
they will destroy the ecosystem.
Stuff up.
Yeah, because you have to assume that some of them will find a way to survive.
Sure.
And then you know what they need to get?
They're going to dig their way into some barn.
Maybe they'll get into Summit Lake, and they'll take care. They're having a Canadian goose hunt.
Yes, fifth annual Summit Lake Canadian goose hunt.
Maybe it won't happen because maybe the mink will come through and just take care of it anyway.
I'm really hoping we have the Boss Hog Navy go out there and we do a hunting excursion just for podcast content. Maybe we kill a goose, maybe we don't, but we're going to have a terrible time and we're going to talk about it. So, and it's January. So January on Summit Lake in a bass boat.
Why don't they just take it to Memorial Park and let people on 3 hit them when they wander? Because that happens all the time. I remember not that long ago, Canadian geese were protected. And now we're having organized hunts.
They have there's nothing to keep them under control.
You need to shove them north of the border where they belong. I had a friend that used to call them an invasion force.
If a presidential candidate
send them all down to I-69.
If a presidential candidate ran on an anti-Canadian goose platform, they would probably sweep their way straight in.
Nobody likes them.
Could you imagine the redneckery associated with that?
Why not?
We have to deal with them at work, and it's hilarious. They're like mean. They sit up on the building and they'll come down at people, and they'll sit outside the door and just stare at people through the doors. and they started putting like silver streamers on sticks in the plants to try and keep them from nesting. And they tore the streamers apart and made their nests out of the streamers. Just like
if a goose could put up a middle finger, you got
exactly
it.
what they did. Yeah. And then they would walk over from their nest and stare to see the door and wait to attack us when we went outside.
So next summer, the Morrell family is going to be going to the Black Hills of South Dakota, and they are the highest mountain range this side of the Rocky Mountains in North America. The inside of Custer State Park, they brought in some Canadian. This is in the 1920s. They brought in some Canadian mountain goats to put in a zoo. 6 of them.
This is how it always starts.
The first night, all 6 goats escaped, and they never caught them. This is the first night, and then they could.
So what
never
is the
catch
population
them.
now?
They are the
Thousands
landmark species of the Black Hills of South Dakota. There are mountain goats all over the hills, and there are hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of them from 6 that escaped a zoo, and they've just taken over, and they are now as well known as the bison in the Black Hills.
So does that mean like 100 years from now, it could be the Ohio State
just
Minks?
be overrun with mink. The same damn thing happened.
They could get rid of that Buckeye logo and become the Minks.
Zach doesn't trust me, so he's fact checking me right now.
No, I'm looking up. I'm going to see if this Google search will give me anything. The most successful invasive species in the U.S.
Probably the earthworm.
There's so many funny, like there's the ones where there's still, was it Pablo Escobar's hippopotamuses? Yeah, they live like in Colombia or whatever. Yeah. They're not. And
it's got to be the python before long.
The python
until Florida is gone.
The pythons are very. The most destructive invasive species in the United States.
Zebra mussel?
Feral swine. Pigs.
That is that's not Indiana's
They do remarkable
problem,
damage to the ecosystem, wrecking crops and hunting animals like birds and amphibians to near extinction.
They have some down in southern Indiana, don't they?
Do they really?
I think so.
Asian carp, zebra mussel,
gobies, the gobies, the zebra mussels, those are aquatic concerns.
If anybody goes to the south, you know about kudzu. Kudzu's like a vine that they planted along the interstates, and now it's just slowly snuffing out forests.
What's the one little varmint down in the southeast that destroys the banks of the rivers that digs away at it?
No, I'm not sure.
There's this wild concern about Asian carp getting into the Great Lakes that are up in the Illinois River now, that have come all the way up through the Mississippi Valley. Because
there's fear that once they get in the Great Lakes, then
we're done.
Yep.
Then we may as well give it all back to Canada. So 40,000 mink loose in Van Wert, Ohio. 10,000 left, and there's a good chance that they're going to take over.
So hey, if you need a cheap winter coat,
head to Van Wert.
Take your driver up there with you.
What is that fur store that you hear the ads for and just thinking like,
Elon, is it Elon Furs?
Yeah, Elon Furs. They're having a big mink sale in the years. Some of them slightly stained. There might be
you may have to tan it yourself.
Why is there a little bit of road salt mixed into this one? I don't understand.
Midwestern mink.
Is that a turkey feather?
Yeah. That's
the most what you have experience in this sort of stuff. Are there any other random commercial operations that we would have no idea? I know that one of the East Central Indiana communities they have like they do shrimp, right? There's a shrimp farm maybe in Blackford or Jay County.
Yeah, there's a shrimp farm up there. There's a salmon farm. Is it Albany that has the big salmon tanks now?
At one time, there was going to be something like that at New Lisbon exit. I remember there was somebody that was some type of a fishery.
And Henry County lost it?
Yeah, believe it or not.
Way to go, Darrin.
Tired of me.
We didn't want the competition for the Blue River, man.
He's the king of the NIMBYs.
What if they get out? What if they get out, grow legs, and they start mixing in the Flat Rock River with the turds from Spiceland? It would just be it would be a combination that would be not even a mink could take it down.
Rush County would be decimated.
Men's Warehouse. You're going to love your
new mink
coat. I guarantee it. We're going to have homemade mink coats overwhelming Goodwill in Fort Wayne, Indiana by spring. All right. Darrin, I hate to have to ask because I know this is a big deal in your house, but Taylor Swift was going to have a concert that was going to be available to the public, and you had to be one of the Swift boaters to be able to get your early pre-sale access. Did you get your Taylor Swift concert tickets? Because if you didn't already, I think you might be in trouble.
No, I think we're out of luck. What was it? These people that were waiting 6 hours,
like 7 hours in the queue
and
on
then
Ticketmaster.
Crashed or
How much more of a hero does somebody need to be in Taylor Swift to cripple Ticketmaster? Because Ticketmaster is the worst.
Ticketmaster is getting
somewhere. Eddie
all of the
Vedder
blame.
is sitting back laughing his ass off.
Oh, I hate Ticketmaster. I know they still made a truck ton of money off this, but they're crippled. They're embarrassed. It's hilarious and good for Taylor Swift.
I mean, they've been selling tickets online almost as long as Taylor Swift has been alive. You'd think they haven't figured out by now.
And they only, the average $25 ticket to an event through Ticketmaster only cost you $127.42 after fees.
I understood paying ticket fees when you had to go to Karma and, Karma got some of that cut. But now when I'm using their website, why have the fees grown astronomically?
I still have to pay the fees. I've gone to the ticket office at a venue and still had to.
And it's a digital ticket.
Yeah. I got paper tickets for this event, but I went there hoping to save myself the fee because it was more than a ticket.
So essentially what it appears has happened is that they let all of these people get in the pre-sale. And then the pre-sales ate up the entire ticket inventory. They didn't just hold anything back, so they overcommitted. So their big, massive sale that was supposed to happen tomorrow to the general public has just been canceled.
Yep.
They've ripped the rug out from people that had taken a vacation day on Friday to be able to get their Taylor Swift tickets, and they're just not going to do it.
Did I see the Atlanta show? There were tickets going for $28,000 on the secondary market. Who's spending $28,000 to go see?
They're probably going to go to F1 in Vegas too.
I can beat that. Have you listened to Joey Molinaro's? They talked about for the Vegas IndyCar race, you can get it's a 2-story suite, 6
at
tickets at the Wynn, 6 tickets, paddock club access, not paddock access, paddock club access. You still don't get in the paddock. $1 million
for 6 tickets.
6 tickets in the hotel room.
It includes a 3-day weekend plus spa and golf.
Spa and golf, yes. But if you're a real race fan, you're not going to spa or golf. You're going to the racetrack. But $1 million.
But if you're going to be seen, you'd like to be seen at the spa.
So just for giggles, I was looking at Airbnbs in Vegas that weekend. I think it'd be fun to go out just to hang out.
Because you got that kind of money. Yeah, okay. All right.
No. I was looking on the budget end. And there are Airbnbs within walking distance that a few $100 a night for 6 to 8 people. That's doable.
Until they figure it out. Until they figure out what they've got. They figure out what they've got, and those next year, those will be.
I could never afford to see the track when I was there.
So I did the Airbnb for the first Music City GP in Nashville. I booked it 8 months out before they really figured out what was happening that weekend, and magically my Airbnb got canceled 2 weeks before the event, and I was SOL. And then Airbnb had to give me a voucher for $1,000 to be able to get me anywhere close to what I had before, to what I had already had booked. So yeah, I've lost a little bit of trust in the Airbnb system in locking something in advance for major events. I've been burnt before. It's you get jaded, kind of like going to the polling place, and you just get disappointed year after year after year after year. We don't all have Brian Nichols optimism.
I had 3 signs in my yard, and all of them lost. They turned into political tombstones overnight.
Welcome to the party, pal.
Yeah.
So I think the entirety that I've lived in Newcastle, every political sign that I've put in my yard,
have they all lost?
Except for Chad Malakote. Surprisingly, that's the only one that won.
That one stuck.
I'm on a real murderous streak. People, if I ask for a sign, they should just say no.
But the bad thing is, 2 of the 3 elections, I had my own sign in the yard.
Yeah, that's rough. Yeah.
That's good insurance, so you don't actually.
I put out more signs than Darrin did.
Well, I think people drive by my house to figure out who not to vote for. So.
I have my mini barn is full of corpses of signs from the last 15 years.
You should have put mine out there this year.
I may put it out in for the May election. For the primary, for the city primary.
My name's going to be written in on somebody's ballot. I don't see that name on here.
I've got a building collection too, because a lot of times I ask for them. People don't bring them to my house. Like I get them from somewhere else, so they don't know where I live, and so they can't come back for them. So I just have a collection of them.
I have a basement full of my own,
just in case.
In a stack back in the corner.
Chris Guffey so passionately doesn't want to have to run for city council again. He moved out of the city and changed his name so he can never run for. Chris Guffey no longer exists. He's been wiped from the face of the earth.
Give you some pads of paper with his name on them, though. They're still over there.
There's a lifetime supply of matchbooks and other stuff in the building still. All right, we are at the point in the show where Darrin is starting to fall asleep on me, so we need to do final thoughts.
Way past my bedtime.
Zach, what do we need to know? What's coming up? You got a Christmas tree lighting ceremony. You got a parade.
I am way out of the loop on what's going on. So traditionally, what the parade's going to be next Saturday after Thanksgiving. The Knights of Pythias parade's usually, I think, the Saturday after Thanksgiving. So there's a tree or something's going to be. I think that
they're not going to cancel the tree lighting on account of it being cold.
Oh, I don't know. No, it's got to be watched. It'll be 70 degrees probably next week, but
it's going to be like 27 degrees tomorrow.
I think it is supposed to be mid to upper 50s next week.
It's not, because it's still fall. This weather's offensive though. Just too quick of a switch for me. But yeah, I'm actually not caught up on all the dates that everything's happening. I just knew the Knights of Pythias parade is traditionally the Saturday after Thanksgiving. There's a Christmas tree lighting tomorrow.
Yep.
I see the 18th. Where is that?
1400 Plaza.
Okay. Yeah, they had it on today though must have tested it today. And then I think that I saw the date for when the lights at the art center are going to be turned on, because they have some nice Christmas lights up. So, and then I believe the Christmas walk is December 1st.
Yes, it will be counter programming the Boss Hog episode. So,
which I think it did last year too.
We may have to
put some hot cocoa out here. Say, hey,
we may have to just take the show mobile. We'll see what happens. We may try to do something crazy.
Oh, if we can just set up at 3 or Main and 38 and just set up right in the middle of the road.
Go up to Citizens Corner.
Yes.
We'll see how motivated we get.
If the scissor lift's still there, can we broadcast and then we could do like a turkey drop. We go full check. We go full KRP.
Let's check the weather before we commit to any of these horrible ideas.
Yeah.
We'll see how motivated we get. If nothing else, we may just take the Zoom H6 and go wandering the streets and do a wandering
just
crazy podcast
in people's faces
and just start talking to people that don't want to talk to us.
I know we'll find Dickin down there.
Yeah.
And we'll find Carrie, but yeah. So
we'll see.
So off the top of my head, that's the stuff that's coming up. Other than that, it's yes.
So Mike Broyles just joined, and I see that he's making fun of my signs in the basement.
Well, no, he's talking about this building. We have a tremendous amount of signs from dead campaigns. We have signs tucked all over the place. Over on top of the bathroom, there are probably hundreds of signs from.
You really need
Studio
wallpaper in here with the signs.
Studio art. There are a bunch in my mini barn, and then the basement of this place has got a tremendous amount of former LP candidates.
Can I add to the collection?
No.
Come on.
No, nonpartisan signs don't count.
He's probably commenting because Mike goes down there to do maintenance.
Mike, every time something breaks, Mike has to get involved, and he knows.
Is Mike down there now?
He may be. If he's in the doghouse, he could be tweeting from the basement.
Hit the ceiling 3 times.
All right, Darrin, you got anything to promote? Any new ordinances for Spiceland that are coming up?
No, nothing to promote. Appreciate you having me on. Just in all sincerity, love the candidate series. I think you guys do a fantastic job every time it comes around. I think it's a real public service. Most of us don't probably get to hear from these folks. God love the Courier
Even the
Times.
ones you want to hear from, you don't get to.
Well, love the Courier Times, but the little snippet of what folks put in there, it only tells you so much. So it's great to have, and great when candidates come on. So really appreciate listening to that, and appreciate you guys go through that kind of torture every year.
It almost. 3 out of 4 years we do it twice a year. It always sounds like such a grand plan when you put it all in a spreadsheet and you go into it hoping, and then when you have the same conversation for about the 5th time in 6 weeks, you go, oh my God.
Some say torture, others say entertainment.
I would say that
if we had rules against drink, if we had our own rules against drinking, I could never do it. But when you make it fun,
next time turn it into a drinking game.
It is.
No, by rule, just line up shots.
Just make them.
Make the candidates drink?
Yeah.
I like it. Yeah. It's like hot ones.
We
only.
we give extra credit to candidates that do drink. I tell you that. Some do. So there's different grades. Some will do it, just put the can on the table and they're happy to do it. Others will put it in a nondescript cup, and others will just absolutely not do it.
I have 2 nondescript cups, and neither of them contain alcohol tonight.
It's just a sad existence
I
for
could
you
think
today.
with one episode we could have done that, and then we could have had the officers that we didn't know were sitting outside get their breathalyzers out.
I will say this year's candidate series is the first time I ever listened to an episode multiple times. Wait.
You still,
let me rewind that again.
You said what?
you still missed a lot. Trust me, you missed a lot.
Well, thank you, Darrin, for taking us up on the offer to join on the very short notice.
I can't wait to be back in another 2 to 3 years.
I can't.
That means you're going to continue.
What's that?
So you're going to come back for the candidate series in
As
4
long as
years.
Darrin says, as long as Dakota's not here, he'll come back.
Don't have to confront him about his chickens, right?
Shannon Tom, councilman-elect, says that it was very entertaining being a part of it. So we appreciate the warm words. And sometimes people that come on the show win. Shannon won. Shannon won his race, and he joined us. So
once again,
it all works out.
I'm 0 for 2.
Oh, Forrest, thanks for all the work you did today, man. We appreciate it.
My pleasure.
If you keep coming, we're gonna have to rework the website and put you on there. We're gonna have a bio and a headshot.
Yeah.
I mean, I was so let down when you pulled it up and I see the logo and Dakota's face on there. And
He's trying to. There's a coup. There's definitely a coup brewing. I appreciate Dakota very much, even though he has not been able to be here in person with us this week. He still paid the bills, so
and he's here in spirit.
The back end work he has to do has been taken care of, and I don't know if it was his thermometer he showed me, but somebody had a fever of 102.5 this morning. Or it was the radio station. I don't know. As much as I would like to have guilt tripped him into coming in, if we had all gotten the flu from this thing, it would have been a disaster.
That would have been an awful drive to Georgia.
It would have, yeah. The first time I made the drive to Georgia was also after a Darrin Jacobs appearance. It was the hot pepper episode.
Oh, yeah.
So we ate 2 ghost peppers on the show. Darrin,
that was dumb.
I ate 2 by myself, and then I had a 10-hour ride in the car with my wife and my mother-in-law. It was.
Which was more painful?
I love
the ghost peppers or riding.
I love those women, Darrin. But the ghost pepper did not make for good bathroom intervals. It's very, very troubling.
Was it hotter up on entrance or exit?
Oh, you can't. It was much worse on the way in. I have no fear anymore. After eating 2 ghost peppers on the show with Darrin, I have no fear. Nothing's hotter. It is what it is. Like, it's hot as hot. It's like getting in the pool and you're wet. You're just done. You're hiccuping and it's over. You've lost bodily control, lost your function.
So it's like being tased.
There's no fixing it. Craig DaCosta loved the pepper eating shows.
Don't bring up being tased. That's a show idea.
Well, listen, Zach, we're too important. So I think that our auditioning intern over here, Forrest, is probably going to have to be the one that gets tased.
Oh.
The show doesn't happen without us, but he's expendable.
Come on back, Darrin.
Say chickens one more time, Darrin will have us tased. He's got a town marshal that works for him. He's got police powers. All right. With that, we say thank you guys so very much. We are dark next week for Thanksgiving. So this is the last episode in November. Special thanks to the folks that helped make the candidate series possible. Slick Pickle, Big Bounce, and Wyland's Flowers. You guys are awesome. I think there is something here. We'll see if we can try to do something for a mobile episode. The December 1st show may not have camera work because if we can find a way to do it on foot, we might have some fun and wander the town and really make it overly complicated.
Just go harass Carrie Barrett the whole time.
We'll just make it overly complicated. Piss poor audio, but we'll have fun doing it. and we'll see what happens. So with that, we say thank you guys very much. And something will be in your feed December 1st. And I think we can announce Rex Peckinpah will be on. He's got a book and he'll be on the following week. So December 8th, I think, City Councilman Rex Peckinpah will be on that episode. So with that, we'll see you guys later.
Bye.